Well, I'm joined now by Mesa Gifford, an anti-IS campaigner who has fought as a volunteer for the Syrian Democratic Forces in that area. This, of course, is all coming as a result of President Trump's tweet yesterday in which he said that US forces would pull out. What impact do you think this is going to have on this region?
Well, it's going to be devastating. The only people who will really benefit are the Islamic State, who are regrouping right now in the southern part of Syria. Assad will benefit alongside Iran and Russia. He will no doubt take advantage of the conflict to seize the Deir ez-Zor oil fields, which will provide him a crucial lifeline, a financial lifeline that he so desperately needs. And it will also be a stab in the back to the Kurds who fought so hard against the Islamic State. Something like 11,000 Kurdish fighters died liberating places like Raqqa. And for America to betray them, to stab them in the back, is unbecoming. And it's going to only cause a huge amount of tension and conflict in the region.
You spent time out there. Have you spoken to anybody on the Kurdish side since this was announced yesterday?
I have. I've got a lot of friends. I fought for 3 years in northern Syria against the Islamic State alongside the SDF and the Kurdish people. These people believe in democracy. They believe in secular values. They believe in feminism. It's incredibly refreshing to hear what they believe and what they're fighting for. And I think that's why it was so easy for American soldiers to work so seemingly, so well beside them. So I've spoken to a lot of people. People are scared. There's talk of people already leaving their homes. If the Turkish forces were to invade, it's only in Kurdish areas. We can expect hundreds of thousands of refugees, and it's going to turn into a humanitarian nightmare unless we do something about it, of course. President
Trump has characterised it as a tribal war. Is there any truth in that?
No, I think that's a very naive way of describing it. It's certainly the areas that Turkey is attacking are Kurdish areas, and there is an internal problem within Turkey with the Kurdish minority that's seeking more autonomy and more freedom there. But we can't blur the lines between what's going on in Syria and what's going on in Turkey, which Erdogan is quite keen to do. At the end of the day, Syria is a different case. It's a tragic case where they've been blighted by civil war for a very long time now. The Kurds have worked with the Americans to defeat ISIS and to finally bring peace to a huge area, about 30% of eastern Syria, and now Turkey is throwing that all away by attacking. So I hope people see sense and we put pressure on Donald Trump to reverse this, and even more pressure on Turkey to stop going in.
That was going to be my next question, actually. What do you think the British government should do? I mean, putting pressure on the US, putting pressure on Turkey, apart from diplomatic words, is there anything else the UK could be doing?
Well, Donald Trump has changed his mind before. About a year ago, he wanted to pull troops out. After a lot of advice from Congress, from military advisors in the US, he reversed his decision. On this occasion, again, I understand he didn't seek advice. If the British government and military advisors here were to work with partners like Senator Graham, who's quite keen to avert this disaster, then I'm pretty sure Donald Trump will reverse it. So there is hope, but we've got to work together on this one.
You talked about the Kurds defeating IS. Is that really true? I mean, you talked about IS sleeper cells. They've defeated one element of IS, haven't they? But the threat hasn't gone away.
Yes, absolutely. Well, ISIS, the military defeat of ISIS, their territorial defeat is all but complete. We defeated them in Raqqa, their so-called capital. I was there in Raqqa. I fought for 5 months on the ground, heavy street-to-street fighting. I lost a number of my very close friends. About 600 SDF fighters died in the city. Thousands of ISIS fighters were killed. But the long-term ISIS problem is one where they sow division. They will wedge themselves where there is conflict. And at the moment, we have peace. But if Turkey were to invade alongside its proxies, some of whom have jihadist links as well, then we're really going to see the environment, the fertile ground for extremist groups like ISIS to take advantage. So we can't underestimate what this is going to do to Syria and to our security in the UK.
And the impact of ISIS prisoners of war potentially being released?
Yes, there's 70,000 ISIS prisoners in one camp alone. Thousands of well-trained, fanatical ISIS fighters, literally an army of ISIS fighters, have been captured by the SDF and the Americans, and by the British and French too, and are currently in prison. We've failed to come up with a plan to try them, perhaps in Syria. So now with with Donald Trump's frustration, he's decided to arbitrarily remove himself from the situation, which is disastrous. These people could come back to the UK or could carry on fighting in Syria as well. So this is a much bigger problem than just Syria.
OK, Mesa Gifford, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.